everyone. We're gonna try this again.
Hello.
Hey, this is working now.
This is working now. Finally, we had a bit of a delay, but here we are. Thank you for helping us out.
Hi, Maria. Can you give me the other account name so I can invite her quickly?
Of course. Is Juliana Naufel.
So could you spell it? I'm sorry.
Naufss. She has requested to join. I see her right there.
Yes, I added her. Right, we follow each other. I just want to make sure I invited her right.
I love that we all follow each other. Hi, Juliana.
Hi. So good to see you both. Glad that now it's working. Excited to be here today.
Same here. Thank you for having us.
So thank you guys for being part of this. For us, it's been really important. Hello. I lost you guys for
Hi.
a second, but it doesn't matter. What I wanted to say is I'm really grateful for you guys to be a part of this event, and I don't want it to take longer. So you know what the main subject of this is, which is how can we find our voice and taking up space in the digital landscape? And before we jump into that, I want you to give us a little chance to know about yourself. So can you share with us a bit of your background? Juliana, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my name is Juliana Naufel. I'm a mixed media artist, born and raised in Brazil. For the past year, I've been splitting my time between Brazil and the US. And I love embroidering photos. I've been doing that for 6 years now. And with that, like in 2018, I started putting myself out there in social media and started connecting with people from all over the world, getting to know incredible creatives, having amazing collectors, and getting my work seen. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm also an art therapist, and in 2020, I founded a contemporary art platform called Trouvée magazine for other artists who are using or inspired by vintage photographs. So that's a little bit about myself and my journey so far.
That's an amazing journey to do, because Piya, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Namaste. I'm Piya Samant, and happy Women's Day to everyone joining. It's wonderful to be here. I am a full-time practicing visual artist. I've been an oil painter, practicing full-time since I think almost 10 years. And I have been on Instagram about 12 years with an art presence. I am self-taught, and let's see. I'm Indian American, so I was born and raised in India, and I've spent half my life in India, and now I live in the US in North America. I'm based near Boston, Massachusetts, and I paint about 6 to 10 hours every day, oil painting. I'm also part of some art councils locally. So that's all about me. I have a tech background, so it definitely helps with social media.
Oh, that's amazing. So probably most people that are joining us are wondering, why are we talking about taking up space in the digital world? We all have a space in the digital world. We all have an Instagram account, maybe a TikTok, maybe a web page. But the reason why we chose this precise subject goes back to something that happens offline too. And I'm going to hit you with some hard data. So by now, like at this moment, only 3 to 5% of major permanent collections in the world's two biggest markets, which are North America and Europe, represent women. Only 3 to 5%. And at the same time, a recent research by Williams College found that only 13% of the artists were female. Like 13% of our artists featured in main museums in North America are female, when we represent 55% of the art world. So there is a lack of representation, and at the same time, facing the lack of representation, we find these tools that can help us reclaim our voice and take up that space. So first of all, I want to ask you too, do you think that creating your online platform helped you get in control of your narrative and what you wanted to do as an artist and how you wanted to be seen as an artist?
I'm happy to go first. So I wanted to add to your figures because they are as astounding as they are. When we break it down even further into artists who are women of color, the numbers go further down. So they're in the US itself, there's 20% of the population are women of color. However, it's less than 1% of women of color artists whose work is represented in any major galleries, which is really disappointing because there are so many. We look online, it looks like it's almost 50-50, right? They're women artists. So it's really sad that that's the case, but I'm excited that we're all here talking about it. So I think that being on social media has greatly helped me, as much as it's helped me outwardly where I'm promoting my art and meeting all these wonderful artists and art creators and content creators like yourself. I also think that introspectively, it helps me get a great feedback on what works, what doesn't work. My art is more transparent, so I think I work harder and I create the whole package before I put it out there. So it's definitely very helpful to have that online presence as far as my art life goes.
Great. Juliana, what's your take on this?
Yeah, it definitely helped me because, you know, social media actually gave me this strength to consider myself an artist because I started putting my work out there. I was still doing my undergraduate studies, and, you know, I was too shy and, oh, maybe, you know, I'll keep creating, but I didn't see it as a viable path yet for me. So it definitely helped me because as soon as I started like posting more and started connecting with others and applying to opportunities and getting my work accepted, I was, oh, okay. So maybe it's not like I learned during my BFA that, you know, only this percentage of the people will make it in the art world and will be able to be represented, or maybe there's another ways of getting my work seen and feeling like I'm a real artist, because I am, even though I didn't feel like it before. And I have space. It may not be the most traditional space, but I can indeed show my work, put myself out there, and connect with people that resonate with what I'm creating and that did my message. So that was really important for me, and that's something that I value a lot. And I know that as creatives, sometimes we get frustrated with social media, but every time that happens to me, I try to focus on all the amazing things that have happened to me this past 6 years, because I'm here, you know.
That's incredible. And as you just mentioned, like many times for us as creators, when we talk about social media, it's like, oh, this is a problem because we're talking about something that takes so much from us. And suddenly this big piece of work is just content or a post. And we feel like it might lose something when actually it's like a new window for us to share all of these things with the world and to find other mind-like people that can join that conversation. Like we can be conversation starters. So what was your first state when you said, or what pushed you to, okay, I need to create a platform for myself. I'm not finding a place where people like me are being heard. I need to create that place. What was your first approach to that digital space?
Do you want to go first, or should I?
Sure. So, you know, I started putting my art on about 15, 20 years ago. So back then we only had a website, right? And emailing collectors. So I put a website up, and I was still working in the tech world. And I said, okay, this is really one-sided. I don't know who's looking at it and who's not. So I went up on Facebook, and that wasn't really where the art scene was, I think. I'm sorry if people are offended, but there's a lot of text going on there. And then some of you have heard this story, but a 17-year-old said, why aren't you on Instagram? It's like it's going to be the next thing for artists. And I was like, what does a 17-year-old know? And she said to me, it's all images and it's the perfect platforms for you. So even though I didn't know what to do, I created an account. That was April of 2012. And I had 0 followers. And here I am today, I think 11 years later, and I have almost 18,000 followers. Hey to everyone who's my followers were here. Thank you for being here. But it's definitely I think the teenager thought ahead, and I think that's just it. It's always looking for an interactive platform to meet minds like you creating content that you're creating. I think that helps the most.
So for me, I started sharing my paintings and what I was creating actually when I was in high school as well, like 2012, 2013. And I've always been creative. I've always been creating. I started my BFA. My friends back then were also like sharing what they were creating. So it was like, oh, that's a safe space for me to post like on Instagram. And at the same time, I built a website as well. And it was only like years later, probably 2019, that I started thinking more of it as a business as well, and started having like a newsletter and trying to figure like different ways of building an online presence and being connected to my community. So that's been my journey, but Instagram has been my main platform apart from my own website. I've tried TikTok. It's something that I still want to try a little bit harder, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel that it's better, depending on where you are at your life, to focus on 1 or 2 tops instead of just wanting to be everywhere and then not being able to keep up with everything, because it takes time. And as full-time artists or artpreneurs, or even, you know, if you have a day job and you're also creating, you need to choose wisely where you want to spend your time and your energy at. So for me, my priority has always been like Instagram and my website newsletter, but that might also change with time. You never know.
Yes, these platforms are ever evolving, and that's one of the things that keeps us on our toes. Like, we're always trying to figure out not only what's the next thing, but where's the next place we're going to be having this conversation. Like, probably next year we can be having this precise conversation in another whole platform with a different community and with different possibilities. So one of the things I wanted to know from both of you was creating content or generating all of this, like the platform, how to present your work, how to talk about yourself, having a newsletter, all of this work is also creative work. So I wanted to know if you guys see it as an extension of your work as an artist, or where do you compartmentalize this in your art world?
I can go first. So I think it's both, right, Maria? The part where it's not art is when it's 1 in the morning and you have a newsletter deadline and you're typing away because you want to make sure your collectors get to see your new collection of paintings, right? And that's not the artist side of me. That's my marketing side. That's my tech writer side, right? But it's work that you have to do, so you get it done. But then when I'm posting a work in progress, like I'm creating a reel, I have the camera right at my shoulder and it's recording what I'm painting. I'm completely in my artist mode. I'm painting. I'm not worrying about whether I'm live, people are watching me live, or even that it's creating content for me and then I'm uploading it. So I think when I'm sharing just pure art, it's a part of me. So I think it's both. I'm an artist and a creator, content creator. And when I think that way. And I think most of you who are here who are artists, when you think that way, it makes the process so much easier where you're not doing it as an additional job.
Perfect.
Yes, I agree. I really agree with you, Pia. And for me, it's definitely something that was a game changer when I started seeing it as part of my creative expression. And that's even like one thing that I like a lot. Of course, I love talking and saying that I'm an artist, but for me, more than an artist, I see myself as a visual communicator. So it's all about the messages that I want to express through my voice, through text, through like sending love letters to my newsletter subscribers, or through the pieces that I'm making, or even like how can I share what I want to in a fun and light way to my community. And yeah, so it's impossible not thinking about the creative side and all of that. Not everything is fun, because once again, it's very demanding, but it's definitely, oh, this is another chance that I'm having to express myself in a different way. So how cool is that? I feel that everything that we're talking about, me, at least for me, it's about trying to shift your perspective. Not that it's something really easy to do every day, but just trying to, okay, how can I be seen? How can I express myself? How can I connect with others, and try to forget a little bit about the numbers? Not that the numbers are not important, but just thinking about like the connections that you're making, and the people that are on the other side as well. And sometimes we get frustrated when something doesn't have like the feedback that we thought it should, or that we aim for. But if it changed or made the day of one person better just for a little bit, it served its purpose. So I see it as an extension to my practice. But I have to say, that being said, I would love to like outsource when possible as well, just like certain things, especially like for launches of new collections and other things, have someone to help me out, so I can focus more time on my studio. But for now, just trying to think of it as an extension of my practice keeps me going.
Your time is so precious, right?
But that's the good and the fun part. It's something that at least keeps us motivated, because something that people might not realize is, as women artists, as entrepreneurs yourself, you put on many hats. You are your own PR, social media manager, photographer, the person who responds to the emails, the person who sent the email, the person behind that beautiful post you saw, that engaging reel. Everything is mostly done by one person, or at least went through your mind at one point and was conceived there. So there is a fun side to it, but also there is a lot of work involved. So I wanted to ask you, you already told me it was a really organic way, like just stumble upon it. In the case of Juliana, like everybody had a blog, so okay, I'm going to have an Instagram. Then you heard about Instagram and you say, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this platform that is image-based. But it's not only about having an account. That doesn't seem to check everything on the list right now. So what do you guys had to look for information-wise to prepare for in order to create this space for yourself? Like, did you go into a lot of tutorials? Did you Google this? Like, how has been the process to learn and actually get all of these art marketing strategies going into action?
So this is a question I can speak to all day, but I won't do that. The first thing, I think everyone knows this, so it's just going to be hearing what you already know. The social media or the tech market, and this is tech, right? Social media is tech, is just presented as a marketing platform, but it's constantly evolving. So there is really no one answer, as far as I understand, to saying this is what I did last year and that's what's going to work. because last year when I posted a reel, within 15 minutes there were 45,000 views, and now I could wait 2 hours and there's a couple of thousand. So algorithms change, marketing strategy for Instagram changes. So there's really no one way, but I can share some of my best practices, and then you can do the same. One thing that I keep the consistent, that I never change, is I stay true to myself. So that way I don't have to remember what my style was, or what my language was, or what my art content was last year. I'm very honest and transparent about the work I create, unless of course it's a commission that's a secret for someone's wife or spouse or, you know, parent. But I share, I post about 5 to 7 stories, or 5 to 10 stories every day, where I post content like, here's what I'm creating, here's the tools I use today, or this is what my dog feels like sitting in the studio. So those are my stories. It's very at the moment. It's gonna change tomorrow. And then I post 5 to 7 or 5 to 6 reels or posts every week, and that's where I present something that's more edited. So if it's a work in progress of an oil painting or a sketch, I try to make it interesting. At least the first 3 to 5 seconds are eye-catching, or I think they are. So that's the posting part. So I post more reels because that's what people are interested in. I'm very interactive with people. While I'm not really good at responding to DMs, because DMs come at you, you know, we all know that there are a lot of DMs. So I try to respond in the comments, because then everyone can read them. And I try to respond to people, try to be helpful. And so that's the DM, the comment part. I used to go live a lot more. I don't anymore, but going live definitely helps, because your followers who are online can get a glimpse of you, can hear what's going on quickly without going through your posts. I follow up with newsletters also. And then one of the strategies that really helps is have a goal on what you're going to post. So I think my 3 goals are to help other artists, to tell current collectors or potential collectors what they can expect from me as far as what I'm offering in the next month. And then just people who are there to look at my art, to give them content that they want to come back and see more. So those are my 3 goals, because I think those are my 3 kinds of audiences. So when I create content, and I really don't create content, I just post what I create as far as oil paintings go. Those are the 3 target audiences I keep in mind. So for the people watching, whatever your target audience is, first figure out, look at your insights, because Instagram is really great at insights. And then post based on that. Like, another last thing really quickly is, when I started, 100% of my followers were from US, United States, but now 65% are South Asian, 25% are North American, and 10% is rest of the world. So always keep that in mind when I'm posting or responding to people, as far as time zones are concerned.
Great. That were great insights that I think every one of us can take on and use for it. So, Juliana, what can you tell us and share with us?
Okay, so when it comes to my art platform, Instagram, we keep it pretty consistent as well. I feel that consistency is something really important, not only like to social media, but for your practice, because it's a way that you're telling yourself, oh, okay, I'm doing this, I'm showing up, not for others, but for myself, because I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe in what I have to share with the world. So I feel that's something good to keep in mind. So with the magazine account, of course, as we were talking before, the algorithm is changing all the time, and something that used to work before not necessarily works that great right now, but it's a matter of, you know, showing up and keep doing and keep posting and sharing. But for my personal account, I used to be way more active before, and I had to slow down a little bit, and now I'm really intentional with what I'm wanting to share. So I'm always thinking, oh, why do I want to share this? Like, how is it going to make someone else's life better? Is it going to uplift them with my art? Is it something that I feel it's a message that I wish I heard from someone else? So maybe someone else needs to hear it too, and I feel like sharing it. And for my brand pillars, I have three different things as well. Like I talk to artists, like showing more about the entrepreneurial mindset and what it's like to run a business as an artist, just because it's not something that I had a lot of role models growing up here in Brazil. So that's something that I want to talk about because it's important and definitely was a game changer for me. Of course, I want to share my art and what I've been creating, but also like creativity as well-being. It's so important for me, and it's something really precious, and that I've been feeling the urge to talk more and more and more each day, especially now that I'm a licensed art therapist, because it's part of who I am and what I do as well. So I've heard advice before that I should only stick to one of those things, but at the same time, it gets back to staying true to yourself and understanding that the right audience will connect to you, even if it feels a bit odd that you're talking about different things. But in the end, your whole life story will navigate through everything that you create and everything that you're sharing. So there's a connection there, even if it's not the easiest one or the most obvious one to see.
Perfect. There was something really important that you mentioned at one point, Juliana. Didn't have that many role models. Representation, like why we make such a big deal about representation is when we see people like us, when we see women like us, women of color, from origin, the full intersectionalities of what each single one of us can be, doing what they do, unapologetically, expressing it, finding their space. It's like a call to others to do the same. So I wanted to ask you too. We know there are places like there is a reason why we commemorate days like International Women's Day, and we go back to the statistics and we revise them and we talk about our pay gaps and we talk about these bridges and everything. But do these digital spaces give you the chance not to censor yourself of your work, but to free yourself from the need to fit into something to get that recognition or that valuation that you needed to move over with your career, to move on with your career?
Say that again one more time. Are you talking about? I couldn't hear you. Or if you want to go first, that's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat. Just make sure, like, if you cannot hear me, just tell me. There is no problem. What I wanted to know was having these digital spaces give you the chance to free yourself and to express yourself in a way that you wouldn't have if you were taking into account what the market was asking for or what the market needed. Did you guys just went for who you are, what you did? Because most of what you guys just mentioned had to do with being clear about who you are, what you do, and how you do it. That's it. That's the whole basis of this strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely feel that social media has helped me. I mean, I never thought about it until you asked this question, you know, but it definitely helped me grow the part of me as an artist that doesn't, you know, when we go, so if, let's say, just taking a step back, when I paint, it's just that part of my being, the artist part. But then when I have a gallery show and I'm talking to people, that's the presenter part. And it has definitely helped that part of me grow because of social media, because there is a constant flow of information, communication, meeting hundreds of great artists online every day. and just the feedback system, and what you mentioned, just showing up, being accountable. It's a fantastic way to grow that part of being an artist. So yeah, the liberating part, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. It is definitely liberating. Social media puts us more in the limelight, but it also gives us more freedom to do what we want to do in a space that we create. So it's fantastic. And but I think the biggest part is, if you find your own tribe, there's nothing better than that. You know, like I don't look for followers as much as I look for people that I can get a better engagement from. So I would have been happier with 1,000 followers with 80% engagement rate than 100,000 followers with 10% engagement rate, right? Because in the end of the day, it's who you connect with, who you learn from. I think I learned so much from my followers, because they'll send me things, they'll DM me videos where I posted a reel, and they're like, here's a reel of somebody who did it better. And I'm like, hey, thank you so much. I learned so much from that. And it is empowering. It's really liberating. I don't have to worry about, oh, maybe I should have waited 10 more days to post this and work harder. I can just create another painting. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And I hope everyone here does too.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, sorry about that. It's very liberating. Just because it's like, oh, I can be myself. And like, of course, sometimes we feel like we should pretend, or we're scared to put ourselves out there as we are, because the internet can also be a rough place occasionally. But it's a good thing that, you know, throughout the past 6-7 years, I've been pretty lucky. And of course, it hurts when someone is mean to you and just doesn't get, but it's a matter of understanding that they're not your people. That's more related to them than to us. So trying not to take as much as personal as possible. That was something that I had to learn a lot as well as we go. But it was pretty fantastic, because for me, it was really about the connections that I made. And it was like, oh, exciting. I finally found my people. Even if they're miles and miles and miles away, I found that. And it's crazy how many great friendships and, you know, lifetime bonds that I made, because I was just being myself online. So why not? You know?
Totally, why not? Like, it's real. Being a woman online, expressing your thoughts, sharing your work, it's opening a window, or actually a Black Mirror, your phone notifications that will get to you with comments that might not be the best. Not only someone sharing their opinion, but also so many awful things that we have heard that can happen when people are not aware or don't remember that behind the screen there is another person with life, with feelings. So what I wanted to know, and I like that you acknowledged like this dark side of it, it's like, yes, social media put us under the limelight, like just under the spot, makes us vulnerable. How did you guys deal with that? With the good part that comes with, wow, I found you. I found someone like me. I found you guys. And the part where someone sends that comment that makes you think, I'm gonna block everyone.
So, okay, that's a tricky question. I don't think there's anyone on here right now who hasn't experienced a negative comment, or what's worse is a negative DM. I've even been reported to Instagram by people who follow me saying I'm posting fake stuff. I mean, I can go on. People copy my account, imitate, steal my photos, and repost them as their own. So a lot of things happen, right? And a lot of artists tell me I don't post my content online because I don't want it to get stolen. But then we look at all these artists who are 20, 30, 100 times bigger than me, who are posting their artwork, not even signing their artwork, not worried about it. So I think that the way they approach it and the way I try to approach it is I stay true to my cause. Things are going to happen either online world or in real world where people are going to be negative. It's called, you know, accepting criticism. They're going to be negative about the way you look, the way you speak. If you don't talk, if you talk too much, if you show up too much, they'll be like, why are you, why is your face there? Why isn't your art there? Or they'll be like, I don't know what you look like. I don't like your art because I don't know who the artist is. So there'll always be people criticizing or just expressing themselves. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Some days are easier to do that than others. If you've had a high stress day, then you tend to react, hopefully not online. So that's how I do it. I think that you know, we all should do this. I try to protect myself. I have two-factor authentication on, which the creator of Instagram, Sari, says almost every week. He says, turn on your two-fact. So turn on your two-fact, people, so you don't get hacked. And then there's filter words that Instagram avails, where you can put words that are negative. So if somebody posts a comment or a DM with those words on, Instagram will filter it and set it aside for you. So that's fantastic. Use it. Don't feel guilty using it. If anything keeps you away from negative thoughts, do that. Especially when there are negative comments about your body image. I highly recommend them. You're all creators. The comments should be about your art or whatever your practice is. It shouldn't be about who you are as a person. Especially when they come from a person who doesn't even show their own face, right? So many times they're bots. So what I tell my family is what I'll tell you is just, you know, listen to your own tribe. People who care about you will give you the best advice, and nobody else matters. That's the approach I take. And then there's positive criticism, where I always encourage everybody to tell me what they think of my art, and I try to take it positively. End of the day, I'm human, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I thought it was better than they said it was, but it definitely helps me, and I try to look at it that way. Last thing, if you have a mentor, or if you can find a mentor, and in the online world it's easier, it doesn't need to be someone who has better art than you, but if it's someone who knows about the art world, like I'm self-taught, so if somebody has an art degree like you do, I would consider you to be my mentor. It really helps to have that, because then you have a solid ground for taking criticism and a directive of what to listen to and what not to. And it's greatly helped me. I've had a couple of really great mentors. We didn't paint the same things either, but it really helped having them in my life. And then at some point you'll feel you outgrow them, but it definitely helps you ignore the negative criticism that's out in the online world. So good luck with that.
Oh, that's a rich part of creating a community. Like, we meet at different times and spaces in our process as creatives, and we all have the chance to push each other. So Juliana, can you tell us a bit about yourself, like your train of thought on this?
Of course. Thank you for everything you shared, Piya. That was great. And also great reminders, because even though we're here on this side, it's good to have some reminders from time to time as well. But yeah, for me, I personally, like, when something like that happens, I try not to focus that much, depending on what the people is telling me. Like, I try to have a conversation, because I know that they are they have their own story. They might have been triggered by something. And I also try to, like, have a polite conversation, but depending on how it goes, I'm like, no, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my energy with that. So that's a no-no for me. Sometimes I block people. because that's also like my safe space. And like, if they don't want to be here, they shouldn't be attacking me. Like, they are free to go. I don't mind if they don't want to stay. But they should respect, you know, my opinion and what I'm putting out there as well. And when, you know, occasionally something happens, I try just to go out, take a deep breath, focus on other things, and not stay like at the moment looking at the comments multiple times and reading, or just feeling stuck with that, because I know I'll start spiraling a lot. So that's something that I know it works for me. Just like, okay, let me leave my phone there. Let me do something else. Let me get my energy back, align myself, and I can deal with that later. For me, there was a time that I was really upset, and my response was just creating art. So that's something that we could also use in our favor. Just, you know, taking what we're feeling and expressing it, even if it doesn't turn out the best piece of work that we make. It's a way to cope with whatever we're going through. So that's also something great. And you also said something, Maria, about like being vulnerable on social media. Of course, it's a really vulnerable place to be, but at the same time, I always try to think of what can I share that it won't affect me that much, because, you know, I have to know my boundaries, and I have to know what I can deal with and what I cannot. So, for example, if there's a certain subject that it's more triggering to me, I try to avoid it, or, you know, I'll wait until I feel ready to talk about that. And it's definitely something that has to do with inner work. When you're like showing up online, you have to do inner work to know like what it's possible for you, how you're feeling, ways to make you feel better, and even like getting to know your audience, and all the other things when it comes to growing. So inner work is key for life, but also for being here on social media. So I feel that these are some things that I would like to tell about this aspect of the bots and haters.
Well, thank you, because we covered a lot of ground, and to cover something that is too real. Like, social media is not just something that happens online and that you can just drop. It's part of our life. It's just intertwined between everything you do. It can change your mood. It can change how you feel about what you do. So setting up boundaries, personal boundaries, and setting up boundaries like safety boundaries is something that we can all take a note and make a daily reminder of what are we going to do with this and how we do it every day to protect ourselves, and also to keep us in the game. Like, we can take this back on, we can take up this space. So I wanted to close down this panel with a question. Somewhere out there, probably between the people that are watching right now, or maybe someone who's not watching this video but might watch it later, might be doubting, should I post this? Should I share my work? Should I open that website? Should I write more about myself? What would you say to that woman or girl to just motivate her to go and post today?
So if you're watching from your personal account and you're wondering if I should start an art account, because that's a popular question I get, do it. Don't wait till you have a collection of paintings. Don't wait till you have your first exhibition. Don't wait till like someone invites you for an interview. Start now, because it's your online diary. That's how I look at it. It's your online art journal. You can start it as a private account and start posting, and invite 5 of your cheerleaders, your best friends, your mom, your sister, you know, your daughters, and start that way. They're your test audience. And then once you feel comfortable, open up. So that's what I did. It worked for me. it took me years to feel comfortable putting my face out here. I'm a major introvert, so I still don't do most interviews. I don't show up online or don't do all those TikTok dances either. I don't plan to. I think that it's like I had said in the beginning of the interview, it's very important to be true to yourself. So I will never give up the part of me which is an introvert, because I think that grounds me to my art practice as well. So I want to keep that part, and I still want to share with people who want to see the artist journey. So that's, I would say, start posting to your comfort level, keep it at a level you feel comfortable, block as many, like you said, block as many people you want to block, restrict people if you want to restrict, speak to the people you want to speak to on comments. Don't feel like you owe anyone anything, and at the same time, remember that you owe yourself the right to, you know, express your artistic journey. That's my parting words.
That's an amazing take, Piya. Thank you so much for that, Juliana.
I love that. I love that. Apart from all this amazing advice, honestly, just a reminder to keep showing up. Remember that, you know, it's your life at the end of the day. So you owe it to yourself to show up for yourself, and that haters will hate, people will judge regardless of what you're doing. So as long as you're being true to yourself, listening to your needs, and like, we all have this urge to create, and we all want to share what you've been creating, and there's always going to be someone who will fall in love with what you're creating, and it's exactly what you're making right now and sharing right now, and even if that person is just you. So it still needs to be out there, you know. So don't forget to do that. You know, try to set those boundaries so you can feel safe and grounded, and just try to find joy and fun in what you're doing. Like, try to see it more as a game as opposed to something really serious that will make you feel stuck or frightened to show up. Because at the end of the day, you never know who's seeing what you're posting, and like looking at your art. It's going to be really surprising, and with time you'll have so many people interested in your art and so many cool opportunities because you said yes to yourself. So I feel that's pretty much it, and just once again, surround yourself with cheerleaders, because that's really important.
Perfect. Well, we have come to the end of this live session. I want to thank you both, Piya and Juliana. Thank you so much for being here. We are honored to have you. It's been a wonderful conversation. And as you just said, do something that brings you joy and that can help others develop those safe spaces too. So for me, it has been an honor to join you on this. I want to thank you on behalf of ArtPlacer, PXP Contemporary, and Create Magazine. And I hope you guys stick with us because we have other 2 live panel sessions coming. And I also want to thank everyone that has been watching and invite you to see the next live session. So thank you, Piya and Juliana. You can say goodbye if you want to.
Thank you so much for being here. I had a blast and hope to see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy the day, ladies.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.